Yo, welcome back. Another exclusive episodes, Dope Air Magazine. I'm here with my big bro C Man, aka C Monster, aka C Garner. How you doing?
Good, right?
It's normal that we have a lot of artists on here, and we do a lot of different things. You know, you see R&B artists, you see rap artists, hip hop artists, but today we kind of hit them with like a different approach, man. You care to explain your situation a little bit?
Yeah, well, I grew up out here with everybody, and was a witness to a lot of the R&B, a lot of the, the hip hop, the gangster rap, and I came with a different approach because I went to college and graduated with a degree in film, and I always wanted to put visuals to a lot of the stuff that's going on out here in the hip hop industry. And what I did was, after making a movie in Hollywood, I decided to write my own stories. And one of the most relevant stories that I can come up with that went along with what's going on out here now was something dealing with music. So I came with a project that's about to be released like next week, and it's called Gangster Rap. And it's actually a movie first, but I switched it over into book form, and it'll be coming out in book form. But what it is it's a story that mixes the actual lifestyle that everybody lives out here, a lot of the individuals live out here, with the music culture. So that's what we're on now.
Would that be considered like a musical, like a hip hop musical kind of?
It has music in it. Like part of the scenes are done in a house in a studio. And it's not actually like a musical like the one Beyonce and them shot a while back. The characters in it don't actually just, like sing on the stage or nothing like that. But it has music elements in it. It's built around music, but not in the sense of an actual musical.
Now, when you put it out as, the project is called Gangster Rap.
Yeah.
What's the significance of that? Because it's not like Gangster R-A-P, it's W-R-A-P.
Yeah.
Like, what's the twist to that?
The twist is with the W in front of R-A-P, and that brings, like I'm rapping a situation, which is basically the plot. And, it just deals with, two guys that hook up, and one of them has money from, drugs, drug money, and the other one is the rapper. And they decide to start a record label. But the conflict in the movie and the drama in the movie and the book that's like it's coming out first in the book, the conflict is them trying to get to the point to where the album is released and overcoming all the obstacles that they face up to that point. And that's where the rap comes in at, the W-R-A-P.
Now, in most situations, when you got, like you said, you graduated from college, degree and things like that, you're not your typical collegiate guy. Like, you care to, because our whole thing with the Dope Air Magazine and with the Dope Air movement in general is we want to show people, man, that have been through whatever it is, their trials and tribulations. Like me, what's more important is getting the stories out there and the stories behind, okay, you made it to this certain level of this plateau, and now, you got money, you got a little bit of celebrity, but the build up for what you had to overcome to get to that college and the behind the scenes story. You care to share a little bit about that? Yeah,
I try to get through it kind of quickly, because it's a long story.
Right.
I, like a lot of the youth, fell victim, or I might not even want to use the word fell victim, but I was attracted to what's going on in the streets. So, I came from a good home, but when I would walk to school, I was more, pulled into the direction of the cars and the money and the clothes and that kind of stuff. So I, strayed. And to make a long story short, ended up in jail at like 18 years old. Had a 14-year prison term to do. And that's actually where I found the talent, if we can use that word, to be able to write. Because when you're in jail, you don't have nothing else to do anyway, especially for that amount of time. And like I said, it started off with trying to write movies. I was sitting thinking, then one day I'm like, I don't have nothing to do. I wonder if I can write the story in a movie format. So, I ordered some books on screenwriting, and started corresponding with colleges as if I was on the street. You know, I was in Folsom at the time, you know, Folsom State Prison, and I would write, you know, Folsom. Like I was in Folsom, California.
Yeah, Folsom, California.
Folsom, California. And they corresponded back with me for like about 2 years before I even got out. So by sitting down and, you know, trying to find something in myself to turn a positive leaf when I got out, I was able to find that talent with writing. And I got out and ended up getting straight A's for 2 years in the junior college. And then I got accepted in the University of Southern California. And
USC.
after I did that, yeah, USC, what's up, USC, alma mater. So yeah, I got into that school, and you know, to make a long story short, that's where I learned how to do films. And I got a job in Hollywood, did a movie with 20th Century Fox, and did one feature film with them. And that's what made me want to go and do my own films. But I also seen the budget that it takes to make.
How much it takes.
Exactly, and that was like millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I said, you know what, I'll take the scripts and the books that I wrote, like I said, when I was in prison, and I'll switch them over to book form.
Right.
And release them, you know, like book form.
Book,
you know, release them as book form, and then hopefully one day shoot one of these off of a, you know, shoestring budget.
What, out of those 14 years, how many years did you have to do?
7.5.
7.
Yeah, it was back when halftime was around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like, was that the goal? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people, a lot of these young guys nowadays, they feel like, okay, man, I go to jail. Now I'm a convicted felon. Now my life is over. So now I gotta go back to the streets. Did you feel like once you was behind those walls, like how long did it take you to realize that it wasn't over? Like where you was like, man, let me make some of myself.
It came from reading, honestly, you know, because when you're behind the walls, you really have a choice. And I think with me, I had so much time, the nonsense kind of played itself out. You know, it just got old. So, you know, because what happens with anything negative, if you do it for long enough, it's going to destroy you. Now, maybe if I would have just went with like a year or 8 months, I might not have had time to actually say, okay, I'm done with that. I'm not going home for a while. So it forced me to find something positive to do. You can't stay on the negative track for too long. But if it's positive, it lasts longer. And that's what, you know, pushed me for a long-term goal that would be positive.
What would you say to some young guys in the streets who you see may have been traveling down the same road that you're traveling, have some talent or haven't discovered their talent yet?
Yeah.
Not necessarily in the penitentiary yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we could see it in their future. What would be some words of advice from you?
My words of advice is that I believe everybody has a talent in them. You know, some is basketball, some football, some writing, some movie, some music. And I think the most important thing is we were all blessed to be here. And that's actually what you really want to do, even if you don't make it with a talent. You know, we got a family, you know, some of us got kids, and if not, you know, you can serve the community by just being on the street and setting a positive example. And, you know, another big thing that always come to mind when I think about that subject is that the same energy that you putting into something negative, you know, like whatever it might be, if you switch that same energy into trying different things that are positive, you never know what you can do, because it takes the same amount of effort to build something up, you know, as it takes to tear it down. So even if you don't think you have a talent, you just got to give it a shot, and you might end up, you know, finding something you like doing, and then it'll start paying off, and you'll be happy you made that choice.
As far as authors, you alluded to earlier, books that you were reading that kind of helped you shape a focusedness in your life at that time. Any books that you would recommend?
When I was reading back then, you know, like a lot of us that have went to prison, like black men, I started with a lot of the conscious books, and you know, I think that's what also helped to calm me down. I was reading a lot of the stuff that the Muslim brothers was reading.
Like any names?
Man, ISIS Papers, Behold Pale Horse.
Just passed.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's a piece of Dr. Francis.
I was reading like the whole gamut, you know, so to speak, of, you know, How to Eat to Live, the, you know, Elijah Muhammad book. I'm trying to think of some more that I read. I read a lot of autobiographies.
Pale Horse.
Yeah. ISIS Papers.
Nile River's contributions to civilization.
I read that. A lot of the covert stuff, speaking about you know, government issues and stuff like that. And you know, I ran around for a while with the Muslims, you know, and that gave me a peaceful, you know, nature, so to speak, and that's what allowed me to sit down and read. And reading does something for you. It calms you down. You know, it's kind of hard to read and be wild at the same time. And with reading comes a lot of education, so that's why I think it's real important.
If you could compare your writing to anyone, what would you compare it to?
It's a mixture. You know, I'm glad you asked that question, because I don't want to use the word the difficulty in trying to pin down an actual writing style, because I try to write for everybody. And you know, like I have older family members that might not want to read about some of the violence, some of the sexual stuff, but I do have friends that do want to read about that. And that's the balance that I have to find as a writer on how to reach, you know, a bigger
audience, a broader audience.
Yeah. So what I did, I came up with a plan to write some that I would consider ethnic, because some of the stories that I wrote like take place back in the 50s and 60s in Mississippi, you know, that has nothing to do with guns and, you know, that kind of stuff.
Just racism.
Exactly.
Right.
It's really like, you know, conscious books, you know. So I label those as ethnic. But then, you know, I have some books that have urban elements in them, like this one right here, because it's, you know, it was based in Oakland, about the rap industry and the streets. And also there's another area that I cover with my writing, and that's like activism. And when I say activism, I mean like I have some that's dealing with, you know, fighting AIDS, but the way that the story is written, it's not an actual teaching, like classroom teaching. It's not A stands for this. It's more of a story to where you wouldn't really know that you're being taught. Because I'll just give you an example. One scene, or inside the book, in the AIDS book, a girl is going out with a guy, and her sister, you know, tells her, girl, you better take some of these condoms, because you know the AIDS rate out here these days is sky high.
Right.
Now that's actually teaching for the person that's reading, because it puts it on your mind. So, you know, with the writing, like I said, I try to cover as many areas as possible to satisfy as big of an audience as I can.
If you could have one leading actor of your choice to play your main character in this movie, who would it be?
You gonna smile when I tell you that. It'd be Fab, man. It'd be Fab, you know? Because I told you, this dude in this story, man, this dude Sam, you know, he's the lead actor. He kind of drives the story, you know? And you just got the elements and the, you know, the charisma and the background to really bring that character to life.
I appreciate that, man. You
never know. That ain't nothing new. We've been discussing.
You never know, man. You feel me? What do the dope era mean to you?
A lot of stuff, you know, because you can take the word dope, and we grew up when dope was around in the streets, and you also can take dope, and we never talked about this, so this is coming from the heart. Dope for us meant fresh, you know? That's dope, man. That's dope. That's not negative. But the way that the dope era is presented, it grabs everybody. And that's, you know, what we want to do with our music, you know, our writing, our filmmaking, because we're going to grab them however we have to grab them. If you want us to, if you want dope to mean drug dealing, and if that captures you, and then you can come and then we can feed you with this positive message, that's powerful. So you might get 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000 to hear the word dope, and it might start off like, yeah, man, I'm a drug dealer, dope.
Right.
But when you come and you purchasing that dope era shirt, or you wearing that dope era shirt, you will subconsciously, or somebody spitting it to you in the right way, pick up on the positivity that's in the dope era, what it actually means. And it's like, we dope. You know, our culture is dope. That's what it means to me.
Yo, another one, not like the other one, but this is dope though, man. A different twist, a director's twist, to see a young dude come from the streets of East Oakland, go through his trials and tribulations, a 7.5-year jail stint, to get out, go get straight A's, go to one of the country's highest prestigious film schools at USC, graduate, go intern through Hollywood, years later, sticking to his dream to come out to be an author, as well as a future film director in the progress. It's talent in these streets. It's talent in this world. Like my brother said, everybody got a talent. We just got to tap into our inner talent. It's a Dope Era magazine. My homeboy CG, aka C Monster. We appreciate y'all.
Y'all check out overduepublishing.com, and that's where you can get a lot of the information. There's a blog that you can get to from overduepublishing.com, and also my name, ChristopherLGarner.com. That's the other website. You tap into those, it's a blog connected to it, and on the blog, you know, I speak about different topics that's happening in the community. And you know, I'm asking everybody to join in and leave feedback, you know, suggest topics and all that kind of stuff, because you know, as a community we come together and we can fix a lot of the stuff that, you know.
To the young guys out there that's writing, and the young women that's writing, that's trying to take that next step, that may have some questions or something, can they reach you on that spot? Where can they reach you at?
Right there, overduepublishing.com, ChristopherLGarner.com. I got an Instagram, Christopher Columbus, Bucks. You know,
see it at the bottom of the screen, about right.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus. That's the Instagram. I got Facebook. I'm willing to help. You know, anybody got a question on writing? I've been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years. It's been a while, so I can definitely help the aspiring writers out, or filmmakers. You know, I've been dealing with film too, with the DVDs and editing and that kind of stuff. So I'm willing to help whichever way I can.
Dope.
And this right here be out next week. It's available for sale. Even if you ain't got no money, hit me. You know what I'm saying? I can get one to you.
Gangster rap. And that's the gangster rap. DopeAirMagazine.com. Y'all make sure y'all check us out.